mic fell. And that's when the detectives realized that they had the wrong guy the entire time. And then when they rushed out to find him, he was nowhere to be found. And guys, by law, I can never tell this story again. Oh wait, was this thing on mute the whole time? Oh well, on to the next case.
Is this episode late because Kai initially recorded it completely on mute and had to re-record it? Yes. Are we putting out a Sunday episode on a Wednesday? Also yes. But in today's episode, we're discussing the second update in the Larry Millete case. So grab your apple juice, hold on to your butts, and let's get into some love and murder. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to a new episode of Love and Murder. You already know the weekly true crime podcast discussing relationships gone terribly wrong, where our motto is, you're either someone's last love or their first murder. I am your host, Kai, and as a reminder, our show discusses true crime cases told in the form of a story with mystery and suspense. We might have a little humor sprinkled in here and there, but that is never at the expense of the victim. Be sure to subscribe to Love and Murder on whatever platform you're on, as well as give us a 5-star review if you please right now so you don't forget. However, if you're new here, then of course, listen to the episode first, and then please go and rate us. And also, welcome. Nice to meet you. In today's episode, I'm giving you an update on the mayamillete and Larry Millete case. This is update number 2. So last time we left you, it was going to trial. So now the trial has started. But first, I wanted to remind you to head on over to our Patreon. In our latest bonus episode, we discussed some crazy cases. It was unsolved mysteries, and you don't want to miss that. And if you join today, you get access to our entire back catalog. So you get, oh my God, so many bonus episodes. And also, once season 1 comes off of this platform, you'll still have access to season 1 of Love and Murder. So head on over to our Patreon, www.patreon.com/love and murder, and get in starting at only $1 a month. But the best tier is the $5 and up tier. But enough about that. Let's get into the show. Now, if you don't remember, we did mayamillete in episode 50. So if you don't know about this case, I would go ahead and stop listening to this episode now. Go back to episode 50, listen to that case, and then look for the Larry Millete update. You'll find that as well. That's another update. And this is actually the second update. So we have the case to update, and this is the second update. But I'll give you really quick recap of just the whole case in general. So Maya Millete was born in 1981. She was born in the Philippines, raised in Hawaii. Larry Millete was born in 1979, born and raised in California. However, he also moved to Hawaii after a time and went to the same high school as Maya, and basically that's how they met. They got married. Larry's life when he was a teenager was a bit, he had problems, he had issues. But when he got with Maya, he cleaned up his life. They got married and moved to California, had 3 children, and just lived a happy life. I go more in detail in episode 50. So if you want to go back and listen to that, then you can hear all about like how they met, more about Maya's background, more about Larry's background, more about their marriage and everything like that. And you don't want to miss like the insane stuff he did in their marriage. Then, so they were married for some time. He did some crazy stuff in the marriage. You got to listen to episode 50. And then on January 2nd, 2021, which wasn't that long ago, which means Maya was 40 at the time. Maya just stopped communicating with her family, which she was normally a heavy communicator. They're a very tight knit family, so they wouldn't miss a day in talking. And then just suddenly, just crickets, nothing. So, of course, her family members went over to the house to check up on them, find out what happened to Maya. Why isn't, she talking to anybody or whatever, making sure everybody is okay. And when he got there, Larry told him that he had no idea where Maya was. She wasn't home. She had just left and he had no idea why. But the family became suspicious because his story started changing. So it started changing to she ran away, she just different things it changed to. And because of a lot of things, the family didn't believe him. So they called 911 and reported her missing. And 2 weeks after she went missing, the police started to search for her. They got a search warrant and searched his house, and their house, not just his house, and got footage from neighbors' cameras and everything like that, which, again, you want to go ahead and listen to episode 50. You also want to go ahead and join our Patreon because we have the footage in there and extra stuff. So by July, he was a person of interest. So, they keep investigating. They start finding like evidence that's going against him, but nothing to actually solidly say that, something happened to Maya and Larry was the one who did it. On October 18th, the Chula Vista Police Department arrested him for the murder of his wife, first-degree murder, felony possession of an assault weapon. So, by October 21st, he pled not guilty, and he's been in prison ever since. However, no one has seen Maya. She's never called. She's never called her children, and that's not like her. She's just gone. No one knows where she is. So that's basically the update. And then you got to listen to the first Larry Millete update and you'll find out what was going on then. But the last I left it was he had a hearing scheduled on September 26th at 1:30 p.m. PST, Pacific Standard Time. So that's where we left it. So if you want to hear what happened in the update, go to that update episode. I don't remember what number it is, but go to that update episode and that's what happened. So let's move on to what's going on now. So on September 26th, 2022, criminal proceedings started for Larry Millete. So the whole thing was, they had to make sure he was declared competent. And by September 26, 2022, they were like, yeah, you can stand trial. You are competent. We see nothing wrong with you. So you could definitely stand trial. So the judge ruled that the criminal case will go forward. And if you listen to the update, you'll find out that his lawyer was trying to say that, due to everything that was going on, I won't go into it just so you'll go back and listen, but basically due to everything that was going on, her client was just not in his right mind, not emotionally ready and everything like that. So he stood in before a judge and the judge said, oh no, you're emotionally ready. We need to find out what happened to Maya. So after this statement came out, Maya's sister, Maricris, I don't know how to say the last name, Juliet, said that after the results came out, she was happy. Quote, "This is good news today that we are finally going forward with my sister's case and hopefully we'll get closure. We're not giving up. We'll bring my sister home." End quote. So you guys, Larry's family filed a lawsuit against the Chula Vista police. Their lawsuit was alleging civil rights violations. So they were saying that the Chula Vista police illegally served a search warrant on April 1st, 2021 to Larry and Maya's house. They said, quote, they were searching for Larry Millete's gun parts. Police officers took not only Millete's gun parts, but also guns that plaintiff Lincoln owned, that plaintiff Lincoln had inherited from his father, and a freezer from the kitchen that Lincoln had borrowed from Larry Millete. So they are basically saying that the cops had it out for Larry. They didn't do any other investigation. This is what they're saying.
They didn't do any other investigations, and they came into the house, or they got the warrant to come into the house to specifically look for certain things instead of, being out there looking for what happened to Maya and everything like that. So that's what their court filing said. That's what their lawsuit says. And I actually have the paperwork of the court filings here, and I'll put that in our Patreon. Now, Judge Dwayne Mooring said that Larry can actually resume communication from jail with his 3 children. Now, if you remember in episode 50, it was that he couldn't communicate with his 3 children. Just listen to it. Listen to it. I'm going to say episode 50. Listen to episode 50 about a billion more times, so bear with me. But Deputy District Attorney Christy Bowles disagreed with this ruling. Quote, "It's our position that the children were present when their father murdered their mother in the home and took steps to hide and dispose of her body while the children were at home. However, part of the ruling that the judge said was that Larry would only be allowed to write letters to his children, and then a court-appointed guardian for the minors must read and approve the letters in advance. And the guardian's name was Kelly James, and they said, quote, "The children all wish to have contact with their father. It is my opinion that it would be appropriate for the children to have contact with their father through letter writing only. The children are all doing remarkably well, and it has been about a year since they have had any contact with their father. Unfortunately, it would be impossible to stop the father from blurting out something inappropriate during a call or a visit, even if it's supervised." So that's why they're justifying the letter, and that's why they think he needs to go back to talking to his children. So after this, after he was found competent to move forward with the preliminary hearing, they went ahead and did that. So at the preliminary hearing, there's no jury there. It's basically it's similar to a hearing or similar to a trial, but there's no jury. However, witnesses can be called, they can display evidence, and the counsel can cross-examine witnesses. And at the end of the preliminary hearing, the judge can then rule if there's enough evidence for it to go to trial. So basically, the judge is going to say, yeah, I believe he committed the crime, and let's go ahead and schedule the trial. Or if the judge says there's not enough evidence to establish probable cause, then the judge is just going to dismiss the charges. So that's what they're doing right now. And with this preliminary hearing, they're going to actually call more than 20 witnesses, y'all. More than 20 witnesses. So the first people they called up were Maya's siblings. So they came up, and Maya's sister, Marie-Chris, said that Larry told her to wait until 2 or 2:30 in the morning, 2 or 2:30 a.m. on January 10th before calling police to let them know that Maya was missing. And then Maya's brother said that Larry told him the same thing. And Larry's reasoning for that was that he said him and Maya had gotten into a big argument on Thursday, the 7th. And so he just believed, she was out cooling off between the 7th and the 9th. He just believed she was out cooling off. So, hold off on calling the police, even though Maya calls you all the time. And for some reason, she's so angry that for the first time in her life, she's not calling y'all to discuss something that's going on in her life. So hold off on calling the police until 2:30 in the morning. I wonder why that was the time. Hold off until 2:30 a.m. I don't understand that. But he apparently had a reason for that anyways. And Maya's brother also testified about him being the first one to the house when they hadn't heard from Maya in like a couple hours. That's how much she speaks to her family, folks. They hadn't heard from her in just a short period of time. It wasn't even a day yet. And her brother went out to look for her. And that's when he said he got to the house and he couldn't find her. And Larry was just not even worried. Then they called a lawyer that Maya had spoken with, Destiny Johnson, which she works at a family law firm in Chula Vista. And she testified that when and I'm sorry, she's not a lawyer, but anyway, she testified that when Maya called, she answered the phone, and that was around 1:45 p.m. on January 7th. And Maya said she wanted to begin the process in seeking a divorce from Larry. And this person, Destiny, said that the phone call lasted about 20 minutes, maybe give or take some. And she said it was unlike any other of the hundreds of divorce calls that she'd ever had. She said Maya tried to or wanted to cancel her in-person appointment. She just wanted to go ahead with the divorce proceedings over the phone. She didn't want to come in because she was afraid that, if Larry found out, or, he followed her there or sent somebody to follow her there or whatever, and if he found out, what he would do. So she said she wanted to just start it over the phone. So they did. But then Destiny, decided to set up a meeting like 24 hours after, because she said, she was concerned for Maya's safety. It just sounded weird. As she said, like I said in the beginning, it sounded most unusual, which I don't understand how that's unusual, because as a divorce attorney, I'm pretty sure you've heard, I don't want him to know until he's served. I don't know what reaction he might have, he or she. It's just like, that could have meant anything. I don't want him to find out. I don't know what reaction he's going to have. Is he going to start crying? Is he going to try and take the kids? Is he going to file before me? That doesn't mean that was an unusual call, because the first thing that should not come to your head is he going to murder her? Like, so that's why I'm just kind of put off by that. You thought that was an unusual call? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It's just my opinion, and opinions aren't meant to be right. So let me know what y'all think in the comments below. I'm not a divorce lawyer, and I don't work in a family law firm. So maybe it is a weird conversation. Maybe it was weird what she said. I don't know. So she said she sent the paperwork to Maya. Maya did fill out the paperwork and had it back to her within the hour. And then she followed up with Maya in 24 hours. Maya didn't respond. So on January 10th, her boss told her to send Maya an email, because they were just concerned that she didn't respond. Then the next person they called to the stand was a forensic specialist with the Chula Vista Police Department named David Garber. And David said that he was the one who photographed all the evidence. And then he just talked about like the evidence, what he photographed. So he just photographed regular stuff like inside the house, outside the house, the cars, their living room, just different things. But the one thing, well, a couple things that he said were weird was that there was a spot of blood in the master bedroom bathroom. There was a spot of blood there. And then that there was damage to, three things. Sorry. There was damage to the bathroom door, and that there were patches in the wall. So like somebody had cut out holes in the wall and then patched it up, but hadn't painted over it yet. So these are the three things that he said when he took pictures. Those things were just kind of weird, but there was no further investigation into that blood spot. So I'm figuring that they tested it and nothing came of it. So that one is kind of weird to me. And I mean, damage to the bathroom door and damage to the bathroom could have been anything. And again, I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no. I'm just giving my opinion here, folks. The only thing that I see that could really be used as evidence is that spot of blood. However, they didn't move forward with it. So I don't know what that's about. Now, the one thing that I want to note to y'all is the main thing that they're paying attention to here is Larry's phone records. So both Larry and Maya's, but mainly Larry's phone records, what he texted, how much he was using his phone. And the big thing is that on the day his wife disappeared, his phone was off. And the reason why this is a big thing, again, if you listen to episode 50, you'll understand that Larry never had his phone off. He was a heavy phone user. So when the day his wife disappeared, between 6:45 a.m. until 6:30 p.m., his phone was off. So that's kind of suspicious. You never have your phone off, and suddenly on the day your wife disappears, your phone is off. And then, as in episode 50, you'll see that, well, you'll hear that there were neighbors had surveillance cameras. So the police used those surveillance cameras to see what was going on at the Millete house. And it shows that Larry put something in his car. I don't know what. He put something in his car, and then he drove away. He left his house at like 6:45 a.m., which is the same time his phone was turned off, and he came back around 6 p.m. And then 30 minutes later he turned his phone back on. And they got, I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was a GPS in the car or whatever. Got to listen to episode 50. Episode 50. And they pinged something. They pinged something, his GPS or something. I cannot remember what it was. And he was not near his home. So this is like, where were you? You know? So another thing they were looking at in Larry's phone was text messages between his supervisor at work, and they showed the text messages. So on January 6th, he showed his supervisor screenshots of messages, like a conversation between him and Maya. And one of the messages Maya said was, quote, "I don't want to be your wife anymore. I'm filing whether you like it or not. I should have left a long time ago, and this time I'm not going to look back and say that again." So that's the day. Okay, so then Larry called off from work. He showed him those texts, and he called off from work, and he said because he was, quote, "mentally and physically, emotionally spent." That's what he texted his supervisor. And then he didn't come in the next day either. So he didn't call, he didn't anything. He just didn't come in. So the boss was like, "When are you coming back?" And Larry texts, quote, "I'm not right." And then the supervisor asks, quote, "Have you eaten?" And then Larry responded, quote, "I'm about to lose it." And that was it. That's literally it. And then the next day, police are looking at his phone and everything like that, and there's barely any activity on it. He didn't text anybody. He didn't call anybody. He's like not using the phone at all, even though like a ton of people were trying to reach him. Like everybody was calling him just to find out how he's doing, what's going on, how are you holding up, whatever. Just what's going on? We haven't heard from you. Even his father called him and then texted him and begged him to turn on his phone. But Larry just didn't use his phone. He just didn't do anything. Another thing that they were looking at was his internet search history. Internet search history, guys. One of the things he was searching for was, quote, "subliminal wife training." Like, what? What? But if you listen to episode 50, you'll hear all the crazy things that he was doing. Like, if you think subliminal wife training is crazy, wait till you listen to episode 50. Episode 50. So he had subliminal wife training in his history. He had a history of like playing subliminal messages to basically, I guess, subliminally train your wife. I don't know. But you'll find out more about that in episode 50. Episode 50. Because that's in there. Trust me. So he also searched, quote, "various individuals who appear to sell spells." And you'll find that out if you listen to the other episode. And he also had a search, and this one's like, wow. He also had a search in there for, I'm not even trying to say the name of this drug, but the date rape drug, which I don't understand. Why are you searching for the date rape drug for your wife? So with that drug, it basically incapacitates people. So that's another suspicious thing. Why are you searching for that? Including with trying to train your wife. So yeah, those are the suspicious things. However, none of it is actually evidence. And again, my opinion, y'all, Doesn't mean I'm right. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. None of that is actual evidence saying that Larry did something to his wife. You know what I'm saying? The only thing that I could think of that would be evidence would be the blood, because anything could have happened to the wall, the bathroom door. And unless you actually have the pieces of the wall, then that's not really evidence. The only thing that I think they had was the blood, but they're not moving forward with the blood, so that means there's nothing that they can do with that. Other than that, everything else is circumstantial. Him leaving between 6:45 and 6, his phone being off, even though it's, that's weird and that's not like him. Her not talking to her family. All of this is all circumstantial because it literally could be anything. She could literally just be like, I don't want to talk to my family, which again is not like her. But it's not hard evidence to say we're going to send Larry to trial. Again, I'm not for Larry. I'm not against him because I don't know what happened. This is just my opinion. But I'm thinking about like what the judge will do, because that's circumstantial. I don't know. This is really weird, you guys. I don't know. What do y'all think? I really want to hear from y'all on this. But that's all I have for you. They are still going through the preliminary trial, but I will keep up to date with this, and I will keep y'all up to date also. Pretty sure y'all are going to keep yourselves up to date either way, but I'm going to try and keep y'all up to date as well. Let me know what y'all think about this. It's just crazy. And if you go to our Patreon, www.patreon.com/loveandmurder, I'm going to add some videos in there, like the trial that's been going on so far, and also some paperwork that was filed in the courts and everything like that. Just join at $5 and above, and you can be privy to all of that. Like I said, that's all I got for you today. Follow us on social media at facebook.com/relationship crime, Instagram at Love Murder Podcast. Join our Facebook fan group by searching Love and Murder fan page in Google or Facebook, or you could just look below in the show notes down there and there's a link to the fan page. You could just click on that. You could find our merch by going to our website, www.murderandlove.com, and clicking on our shop in the menu above. We have some awesome stuff in there, guys. You got to check it out. And I'm trying to add some more. I really am. I promise. I know I've been saying this for a while, but I'm trying to add some more, and it's going to be in there. And an easy and free way to help us is by simply sharing this episode. Share with your mom, share with your dad, share with your brother, sister, wife, or husband. Share, 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 share. And as always, we end each episode by reminding you that it's all love and no murder. Also, I want to tell y'all that I recorded this episode before. However, I recorded the entire episode on mute, which is the joke in the beginning. The entire episode was recorded on mute, and I had to do this again. Yeah, the joys of podcasting. Love y'all. Goodbye.